Hi, Mark Reedy here. In this video I'm going to go over TATEMS backups. So we're going to cover backup on demand, ask to backup on close, automatic backup on close, all other users out of TATEMS before backup, problem with automatic backup, restoring from backup after a crash, viewing previous backups, and archiving old data. All right, let's go ahead and get started. First, we're just going to do a backup on demand. And so we're going to click on Tools, and then we're going to click on Backup and Compact Data. And here, when you first open this for the first time, it'll be pointing to this location right here. So there's going to be C program files x86, TATEMS 2005 folder. And you can back up to there, but if you back up to that folder and your hard drive crashes, you're not going to have access to that backup anymore. So you're better off putting the backup on like an external drive, like a USB drive, on a network share. A Dropbox is a really good option. If you have Dropbox installed, you can save it straight to that Dropbox folder, and then if your computer crashes or your whole network goes down or whatever, you can always log back into Dropbox and download the backup. So I'm going to go ahead and back this up to a network location. So let me click. I clicked on that little open folder icon there on the right, and opens up this dialog, and now I'm going to choose where to back up to. So I'm going to back up over here to this T drive and into this folder called TATEMS Backup. And once we're in that folder, we just click OK. And now that folder is selected. Now, in order for, in the future, a little bit farther in this video, I'm going to talk about automatic backups and backup, ask you to back up when you close. What you need to do, though, is you need to back up first to the location that you've chosen here at least one time for the automatics to back up to that same location. All right, so let's go ahead and back up there. I just click Start, and we'll wait for this to finish. And you can see it just says, please wait while backup is created, even if TATEMS says not responding. So it's done there. I'm going to click OK. TATEMS will go ahead and restart. I'm going to say no to reminders, and then click OK on that little pop-up message there. Okay, so we're back into TATEMS. So that backup has been completed, and now if I go over to the drive where I backed it up to, we can see the backup that was created. And what it does is it creates a point-in-time backup. So it puts the date and the time stamp inside the file name. And if for some reason a backup fails, then this is the file that would be, this is actually the original file just renamed. So this is the file you would want to grab if the backup failed for some reason and it didn't complete. What happens is the file, it recreates the original file over here in the TATEMS folder, actually at the top here. This file right here, TATEMS 2005 be.mdb, it recreates that file, and if for some reason it's interrupted or it fails, then this file may not be recreated completely and properly, and that's where you'd go and get the backup that was created, the point-in-time backup, and then you would be able to restore it. And I'll show you how to restore a backup a little farther along in this video. The other thing is when you back up to this location that I chose, it backs up there. There's also an extra hidden backup that gets created here in this folder. So it actually backs up to two places, just as a sort of a fail-safe. And these backups in this folder automatically get deleted after 30 days. Okay, and so let's go back over to the next. So we're going to go to ask to backup on close. And to set that, you go to Tools and Preferences, And then over here, from us, it automatically is checked, stop asking to back up when closing TATEMS. So if you uncheck that, TATEMS will ask you if you want to back up every time you close TATEMS. So I'm going to click OK there. And I'm going to do a file exit. And the very first time you do it after setting the preferences, it may not ask you. So I'm going to go ahead and start TATEMS back up again. Okay, and now I'm going to go do a file exit again. And you can see we get this pop-up asking, do you want to back up TATEMS now? And that also you can stop displaying this message under Tools and Preferences. You would recheck that box that I unchecked. So I'm going to say yes here. And then it pops up this the backup dialog box. And all I got to do here is, because we're already selected in the right folder, is click Start. We'll let that finish. And I'm going to click OK. And so that backup is done. TATEMS has exited. I'm going to open TATEMS back up. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do is going to go to Tools and Preferences, and I'm going to choose Always Backup when closing. And I'm going to click OK there. And then I'm going to do a file exit. And it is actually backing up right now. You can see backing up. Please wait while the backup's created. Click OK. Now, over in the backups folder, we should have 3 backups. The one that I did manually, the one where it asks if I want to back up, and the one that did it automatically. And there we have our 3 backups there. Okay, and the one thing about backing up is you want to have all other users exit out of TATEMS before backup. So you as the person doing the backup, you should be the only person that has TATEMS open on their machine or on any computer, or if you're on a remote desktop services server, all the other users need to be logged out of TATEMS before you do the backup. All right, so the problem, there's a problem with automatic backup, and that is if you have automatic backup checked and you have TATEMS open and you leave it open overnight, or if for some reason Windows reboots the computer while you're away, then the automatic backup is going to try to start and it's going to fail because, or it's not going to be able to finish properly and properly exit because Windows is forcing TATEMS to shut down before it's done. So if you have automatic restart or automatic updates where Windows is going to restart, what you want to make sure you do is always exit out of TATEMS before you leave the computer when there's a possibility of having an automatic restart. All right, so that's the problem with automatic backup. So I usually recommend just doing the having it ask you to back up, and that's for 2 reasons. One is the rebooting of the computer if it gets rebooted while TATEMS is open. And the other thing is you want to make sure everybody is out of TATEMS before you start the backup. So if it asks you first, then you can verify and make sure that everybody else is out before you say yes to that question, do you want to back up? And the other thing is, if you open and close TATEMS numerous times during the day, you're not always backing up every time you open and close it. But we do recommend that you back up every day. You know, at least once a day you should back up. That way, if you lose your computer crashes, your hard drive crashes, whatever, you're only going to lose 1 day's worth of work up until the point of the last backup. Okay, so restoring from a backup after a crash. And here's how you do that. I'm going to go back and get one of those files that was backed up, one of those point-in-time backups, the most recent one. All right, I'm going to go here to the backups folder. I'm just going to sort by date modified. And to see it in this view, you're just going to click on View and Details. The other thing is, if you want to see the .mdb on the end, over here on the right, you want to have file name extensions checked. All right, so I'm going to grab this most recent one. I'm going to copy that, and I'm copying it because I don't want to cut it out of there, because I want to keep it that way in case I need it in the future. Now I'm going to go over to the TATEMS folder, and this might be on a network drive if you're sharing TATEMS on a server. So you want to put it over there wherever TATEMS database is located. But I'm going to go back over to where TATEMS is located on this computer, and that is in the C Program Files x86 TATEMS 2005 folder. Now what I always do is I rename the current database file so that I don't overwrite it. And that way I'm not accidentally deleting something that I didn't mean to. So I'm just going to rename this by putting a dash after the BE, and I'm just going to put old, and then I'll put like a date on there. All right, and now that I've got that renamed, I'm not going to overwrite that. Now I'm going to right click in this folder, and I'm going to choose paste. Okay, so now this file is in there, the one that has got the date timestamp in the file name, but I need to take that date timestamp out of there so that it's named the original default file name. So I'm going to just rename this. And what I did was I just did I clicked it once, waited, and then clicked it one more time. And that'll allow you to have it go into the mode where you can rename it. So I'm going to take that dash and the whole date timestamp out of there so that it just says TATEMS 2005 BE.mdb. So let me delete all that stuff, press enter, and now that file, that backup file, has been restored into the location where TATEMS grabbed this database from. So I'm going to go ahead and open up TATEMS. Okay, and we can see here up at the top we have our data path. It shows the C program files x86 TATEMS 2005 / TATEMS 2005 BE.mdb. If this was a really long path and it wasn't showing up in the top here, you couldn't read it all, you go down here to Tools and Networking, and that will also show you the current data path. All right, and that's in addition. If you are networking TATEMS and the database is on a server somewhere, this will help you to find out where it is on your network. Okay, so that's how you restore up from a backup after a crash. And if you want to view a previous backup, you just want to link to a previous backup to see what's inside it, what you want to do is basically what I'm going to do is go ahead and click on Tools and Networking, and I'm going to use the open folder icon, and I'm going to navigate to the folder where the backups are. Let me go into that. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the backup I want to look at. I'm going to click open here, and you can see we're about to be linked to this backup, this point in time backup. So I'm going to click link now, click OK. OK, click close. It tells me I'm not linked to the default data file, which is TATEMS 2005 BE.mdb, and that's true. We're not linked to the default data file, we're linked to a backup, so this is OK. I'm going to click OK there. Now, if you're linking up to a really old backup, it might tell you you have to back up the database first, because you're running a newer version of TATEMS and you're linking up to an old version of the file, of the database file. So it will force you to update that file to the current version you're running, and you may not have a current registration key. Well, if it is updating, you're probably going to need a new registration key, or the registration key that you already used for the version you're running. So you'll need to re-enter the registration key so that it gets saved into that backend data file for the current version of TATEMS for your computer. All right, so now we're linked up to the old, to the backup, and that's how you can view that. And let's see what else we got here. Okay, so archiving old data. What you can do there is similar to what we're doing now. For example, if we wanted to, let's go back into, look at our default data file. Okay, so in this example, say we want to go ahead and remove some of the equipment, but we don't want to lose the history forever. We want to be able to go back and view it at some point in the future. So what you'd want to do is, before you delete any data, any trucks or any kind of information that you might want to review later, you want to make a backup. So I'm going to click on Tools, Backup and Compact Data, and then we're going to go ahead and click Start. One more thing before I do that though, you're going to see the compact data there. Don't recommend you use that on a network. You can use it if the database is being saved to your local C drive, but over a network it's possible that it can cause problems or issues working properly. So that's why we leave it unchecked by default. So I'm going to go ahead and do a backup here. So this will be a backup, and I'm going to go ahead and click Start, let that finish. Okay, so that's our backup. And it was this one right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this and just call it Archive. I'm going to say before deleting unit, I'm going to say 14. All right, and then we have our date and our time of when this was created. All right, so now I'll just minimize this. I'm going to go up here to Unit 14. I'm going to go to Records and delete equipment. Say yes, I'm absolutely sure, yes. Okay, so 14 has now been deleted from the current database. Now, in the future, if I need to go back and look at Unit 14, or if I messed up and said, oops, I messed up, didn't want to delete Unit 14, I could restore that database, but I need to do it before adding anything new. Otherwise, I'm going to overwrite anything new that's been added since I made that backup. So now if I want to go in and look at the at Unit 14 again, I go back to Tools and Networking, and we're going to go back to our backups, and we're going to look at the archive here, link that up. Okay, and now you can see we have Unit 14 in this backup, so it's available to be looked at. You know, that historical information for Unit 14. All right, so and that's it. Hopefully that's helpful for you, and thanks a lot for watching. Have a good one. Take care.